It's not an ideal time to talk now because after lunch, most of us feel like sleeping. And we have been listening since morning. I would like to congratulate the organizers for having organized this program and given me an opportunity to be here as part of this group. And when I stand here reflecting on the discrimination that is being meted out to the minorities, as two of my brothers already have narrated a number of stories. Therefore, I don't wish to go into the details of those, but I want to tell you a story. The story is that once a sage had a number of disciples, and one of the disciples, after 5 years of training, walked up to the sage and told him, मैं 5 साल से आपके अंदर सीख रहा हूँ, मैंने सब कुछ सीख लिया, अभी मुझे क्या और करना? The sage looked into the eye of this disciple very intently, very lovingly, and he asked him, have you learned everything? He said, obviously, because I am with you for the last 5 years. The sage very gently asked him a question. Tell me, when will you say that the night is over and the day is dawned? आप समझ में आएगा, रात कब हो गया और सवेरा आए है? उन्होंने बोला सिंपल, ये तो सिंपल है. When I see the sun in the morning, the night is gone, the day is dawned. The sage was very disappointed with the answer. He asked a number of other students. None was able to give the answer. Ultimately, उन्होंने बोला, when you look into the eyes of your brother or sister, and if you can recognize him as your brother or your sister, then the night is over, the day is dawned. I think when we are standing here, or when I am standing here, when we are seated here, in discussing about the human rights violations of the people in the prison, unless we look into the eye of the under trial or the prisoner and recognize him as your brother or sister, we will be looking at a person with his religious affinities, with his minorities affinities, and so on and so forth. I am sorry to say, when it happens in the case of, as my brother said, if a Muslim person is brought into jail, mostly they are accused of terrorism. If it is a Christian, in his case or her case, mostly it is conversion, they convert here. These are the two allegations leveled against the prisoners or the trials who are brought into the prison. And therefore, there is already, without going into the nuances or the proper investigation into the aspect, you already have laid a label upon this particular person belonging to this community. And therefore, the police officers inside also deal with such a biased attitude towards either of them. Any of these minority communities for that matter. Now my question to such people who believe or who propagate this theory, either you are terrorists or you have proselytized the entire Indians, the status or the census of this nation, which is being done every after 10 years, shows that the population is declining. So your theory is demolished, but our attitude, the biased attitude, still continues to prevail in the jail. I remember meeting, not only meeting, I was asked to meet a particular person. His name is Aravind Massi. He was implicated into a false allegation that he had been distributing Bible. When the question came before the court, that he was from a very poor background. He was put in the jail in Tihar. 3 lawyers were engaged. The parents sold the property and paid the lawyers. That is what I was told. Ultimately, the person remained behind the jail. When they approached me, we did the case. Ultimately, found the fellow was selling vegetable. The allegation is that he was selling a distributing Bible. Similarly, I happened to visit one of the jails in Madhya Pradesh, along with a group of students whom I was taking legal aid sessions, seminarians in fact. One of the Muslim young boy, there were 6 of them. One of them told me by interacting, "Sister, we are taken and brought here. हमारे ऊपर ये एग्जाम लगाया है, हम आतंकवादी हैं. हमें बुलाता है आतंकवादी या देशद्रोही." उसके बाद he told us that we are put into a jail, 8x8 cell, and we are asked to do everything inside that jail, and there is a discriminatory treatment meted out to us. And there is another example in the cases of Graham Staines, which we know, which happened in Orissa, Paripada in 1998. The issue took place, and ultimately when the judgment came from the Supreme Court, which was shocking, it is all right because they have been fossilizing. We are talking about the mindset of the judiciary, although the judiciary reverted back and changed that portion, but that was the information we got. So there are a number of instances which I can go on narrating, and we have enough laws, both national and international, in our country which we need to deal with in order to prevent, because the ICCPR, which section 10 of the ICCPR speaks of, and I would like to quote, "With the humanity and with respect for inherent dignity of the human person, and we need to treat the prisoners or those who are confined." Similarly, Article 27 speaks of the states in which ethnic, religious or linguistic minorities exist. Persons belonging to such minorities shall not be denied the right to their religious practices, linguistic rights, and also such people should be allowed to speak their language, practice their religion. Again, the American Charter on Human Rights, the purpose of prison reform and social prison is for reformation and social adaptation of the prisoner. Adding to this, the noted and eminent jurist Lord Woolf, the former Chief Justice of England, said once, and I would like to quote, that is, "The system of justice which has put the person into prison cannot yet the prisoner at the door, but lead him or her to the door of the world." Therefore, all these are telling us the prison is a place where a person should be accompanied to be coming out as a reformed person. And then time up is already said. I will conclude by saying that Justice Krishna Iyer, I want to just quote what Justice Krishna Iyer said in relation to how the bias system applies to the minorities, especially in punishing and giving capital punishment. It was at the time when he was addressing in a conference in Stockholm, and I quote, "Any economic, penological survey will reveal that by and large, it is not the rich but the poor, it is not the Paraya, it is not the Brahmin but the Paraya, it is not the black but the white, it is not the top dog but the underdog, it is not the men but the women, it is not the dissenter but the conformist, it is not the majority but the minority who meet this sort of penalization, discrimination and punishment. So therefore, what are the suggestions? I would suggest one or two proposals. The first one, I think, as Archbishop Desmond Tutu, when he was addressing the prisoners on a conference, he was addressing the people who are involved in the prison. He said, our aim should be a reformative practice. Reformative thing. Therefore, we need to work towards our restoration. And I propose or suggest that we need to give a training to the police inside the jail in order to understand the people who come in there, and they have a duty to respect their dignity and then to accompany them so that they may be brought back to the world as reformed persons. Thank you.